Hi, this is Shane Davis from Youngstown State University here with Figure It Out Baseball. Thanks for joining me for part 2 of my multi-part series on sign giving. Again, as I talked about in my first video dealing with the basics of sign giving stance and setting yourself up to give signs as a catcher, this is a really good resource, I think, for coaches, but also something good for young catchers, male or female, to work on some of these things and get an idea behind some of the things that maybe your coaches tell you about that you don't necessarily take to heart. Because I know at every level of baseball, myself as a player included, it takes a while sometimes for you to realize the importance of some of these sign giving things. Today, what I'm going to be talking about is location. I think sometimes as catchers we get into a little bit of a habit of being lazy and giving locations. So by that I mean we'll go here and then this, or we start doing this with our glove. And you know, for me, I think it's kind of amateurish. Not only does it potentially give away, this is pretty easy to tell if I'm coaching a base or if I'm in the dugout, so it could give away your locations, especially this stuff does. But also I think it doesn't really give our pitchers all the tools necessary to get to a location that they need to. By that meaning, if I want a fastball away, and let's say we're 0-2, I don't really want a fastball right on the black. I might want a fastball 6 inches outside. My suggestion for you is to put in some sort of a system where you're going to give a pitch, but you're also going to give a location. And you can assign, I've seen it done different ways. I've seen zones assigned. 1 would be here, 2 would be somewhere over here, whatever you want to use. I prefer doing something like that. Assigning a location to every digit on your hand, just to kind of eliminate some of the things that have to do with location. That way, if a catcher calls for a breaking ball, he doesn't have to guess whether or not it's going to be in the dirt, or at least we're going to try to be in the dirt. And the same thing for a pitcher. Too often, myself, and I know every coach listening to this is going to feel my pain here. Too often as a coach, you're calling pitches and you're trying to, let's say, pitch around a guy, and you've got a pitcher on the mound and maybe a catcher behind the plate, by proxy, that gives into a guy 3-2 maybe, that you're trying to pitch around and you've got an open base. Just randomly, let's say that if I give a 5 after my pitch call, it would be, a fastball in. So, a simple thing to do would be to assign that 5 and go 1-5. Okay, there's absolutely zero guesswork involved in realizing that we want to go inside with a fastball. Another trick potentially to help with location, if you've got a guy that maybe needs to focus a little bit more on sides of the plate. I do have a plate in front of me. It's hard to tell, but let's just say this yellow line that you see is the middle of the plate. There's no rule that says you have to give signs to the catcher in the middle of the plate. So, if I want to have a fastball away, I can maybe shade myself as a catcher to the outside portion of the plate, and that way the pitcher already knows, all right, I'm getting a pitch away here, especially if you've got something where it's coming from the coach. He's already focusing on that outer half of the plate, and then all a catcher needs to do is get into his position straight in front of him and not worry about hopping and moving around. The effects of doing these are twofold. One, like I said, you're going to help to eliminate some of the guesswork between coach, catcher, and pitcher on what we're trying to accomplish with each pitch in each location. Again, there's a big difference between throwing a fastball on the outer third or outer half and 6 inches off the plate. There's a big difference between, a breaking ball away, a breaking ball down and away. So again, you can assign anything that you want, whether it be numbers, body touches, anything, to help to relay locations to your pitcher. The other effect that this does, especially if you're shading as a catcher, is help to keep yourself from giving away signs. And I've always, for me, after I give a sign, let's say I want to go fastball in, I think it's a lot better to hop yourself into your position rather than just step. I know at certain parts in my career, I've tipped off location, and it's really easy if you have a lazy catcher. All right, fastball in here. All right, fastball away, where if you hop, it's a little bit harder to see. So those are a couple things that I think with signs and locations kind of dovetail and are going to help to work us into being better catchers. Thanks again for joining me. This is Shane Davis with Youngstown State University. Please join me in future videos on this sign giving series. Next, we're going to be diving into some different ways to relay signals, both from the dugout and from catcher to pitcher, potentially with runners on second base and different variations of things that you could do. Thanks for joining me.